Welcome to my bathroom. I'm going to braid my hair because I'm about to go to the gym while I'm getting ready. I'm just going to braid my hair because look at the length. They're literally. I'm not even sure you can see on the camera till how far down it goes. Like it literally goes to my glutes, like literally on top of my glutes. So yeah, the hair gains are very good. Um, but they're just very, very long. I don't know how girls can train with their hair like, free and not attached or anything, like no ponytails, no braid. How can you train like that? I have no idea because I would never be able to train with my hair down. It's just too much around and it just goes in my face and I fucking hate it. So I need to just usually I braid my hair or I do like a high ponytail just because I don't want to have my hair in my face. I want everything in the back, so I can focus on training and not have any distractions or hair on my face. So I'm going to braid my hair while I'm just speaking a bit about what's going on at the moment, because then I'm going to train legs today, quads focus session. So let's get starting. So I am in prep right now. I'm so today's Tuesday of week 3 of prep. So I have a total of 26 weeks, which is a fair amount of time, but I need time because I have no time for cardio with my jobs, being a coach and being a vet. Literally, free time is something very rare. So of course, priority is training, steps, stuff like that. So I just literally have no time for cardio. And I don't really need cardio anyway, but it means I can't rush it. And for me, what works really well is doing long and steady preps. So it's what I'm doing, 26 weeks. So now I have, 23 weeks left, which is a fair amount of time, but I want to make sure I'm ready on time, because of course I don't want to be still fat on stage. So yeah, that's a plan. I already lost a fair amount of weight. So my highest weight was 90.4, and I think it was on the Tuesday of the first week of prep. So that was my highest weight ever. Ever, not ever, but for this off season. So my highest weight was 90.4, and today I'm 86.65, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So it's about 4 kilo lost already, which is a lot of weight. So it's 4 kilo in not even 3 weeks, in 2 weeks and 2 days. So it's a lot, but at the same time, it's mostly water weight. It's not like I'm losing 4 kilo of pure fat. Most of that weight is water weight. So yeah, in the first weeks, you lose a lot of water. You lose also weight because you eat less. So you have less food in your intestines. So of course you're lighter. So yeah, that's what the weight is when you lose it so quickly at first. And after that, it's mostly fat coming down. But yeah, so I lost a fair amount already, which is nice. I feel a bit better. I feel a bit lighter. It's more comfortable for me, so that's good. And so far, training has been going pretty well. To be fair, it has been only 2 weeks, but so far so good. So I'm happy with that. And so what I did is I just dropped 800 calories, just to initiate, to start the prep, to create a deficit. So just minus 800. No need to do more than that. It's plenty of calories. So 800 calories less. So I finished off season at 4,600. calories per day, and now I'm eating 3,800. So it's an 800 calorie drop. Activity is the same. I'm doing 10,000 steps per day. So that has not changed. Of course, still no cardio, as I said. And I'm not taking any fat burners. I finished my cycle with Masteron, well, when I finished my off season. So that was 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago. Which was my last cycle of off season. So now I'm half natty, let's say. I'm on TRT, but that's all year round. So TRT and 3 units of GH every day, again all year round. So that's my baseline. So that doesn't change. And yeah, no fat burner, nothing, like no clean, no Reta. It's way too early for that anyway. No SLU, no MOTC, whatever. No Yohimbine. I'm just using the diet like for now. I don't need more. When you start a prep, like especially when you do long prep, if you do a shorter prep, it makes sense starting fat burner from the get-go because, well, you don't have much time, so you have to like make sure it's firing from the start. So that would make sense starting fat burner in this case. But when you do like 20 plus week prep and you have a good starting point, you don't really need to start with fat burner straight away because food, even food only or food and activity, is just plenty to make you lose fat and lose weight pretty quickly at first. You know, like you don't need to add any fat burners yet. You just like, you have a toolbox and use your tools where it makes sense. You don't have to use, like to throw everything at first. You know, like you can just play your cards along the game. You don't have to like throw all your cards from the first day. So it makes sense, you know, like having a good idea about how you plan things and when you introduce some things. So like, for example, I'll start clean later on. Usually I start clean about 4 weeks in prep, into prep. So I use the first 3-4 weeks just with diet, lose a lot of weight and get things going a bit. And after that, I just introduce clean 20 microgram, just a low dose to start with. So that's how I'm doing things. So yeah, nothing really special for this start of prep. But I feel much better already. Like I could not eat at the end. I was just not hungry at all. Yeah, I was really struggling to eat my calories in the last weeks because, well, it's a lot of food and at some point your body just doesn't want to eat, you know, because like you're carrying a lot of weight. I'm only 5'2", I'm small. So when you reach 90 kilo for 5'2", it's just a lot to carry. And of course my body doesn't want to be that heavy. So it started to be a bit difficult for me to eat at the end. So it's really welcome to eat less. I feel much better. I feel much lighter. I feel like hungry again. I can digest food better because my body is ready for the food. You know, I'm not forcing food. So yeah, things are just very smooth at the moment and it's really nice. It's a nice feeling. You know, this first week when you're not hungry at all, but you eat less, you feel lighter. It's just the best, the best phase of prep. Look-wise, well, I look a bit skinny fat. Of course, when you stop taking like anabolics like Masteron, Primo, these kind of things, or Anavar, you lose that kind of, let's say, gritty, shredded, detailed look. It just looks very different. Like these molecules give you a more like, it just pops better, it just looks so much better. You look more like skinny fat when you stop, which is fine because it's just part of the process. You can't be on drugs all the time, especially as a female. But yeah, I think like it's very much so time and a place. For me it makes sense using these substances only when I can maximize muscle mass. So that would be like off season, of course, to make sure that, well, I'm using it only when I can really maximize the good effects. And then, you'll have some side effects to a degree. Everybody's different, but you can't just escape from them. You'll have side effects, adverse effects, what you don't want. But you have to make sure that then, you expose yourself to that when it makes more sense. So in prep, I do cycles. I think I'll do a cycle in the middle of prep. And I think I'll do another cycle at the end of prep. So the last 4 weeks of prep, I'm doing a cycle. And just to get this look, this very like lean, detailed, like this kind of very sharp look. So yeah, it makes sense doing a cycle at the end to get this look, and then cycle in the middle just to get the ball rolling a bit, help with like strength retention, muscle retention and stuff like that. So yeah, but during a cut, for example, a normal cut, I'm not using any anabolics because it makes no sense. Why would I expose myself to side effects? If I'm not competing, it makes zero sense. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of femininity. So absolutely not. So yeah, that's how I deal with that. But yeah, today we are going to train quads. So it's mostly quads. Of course, my glutes are going to be trained on the quads, like the squat patterns. And of course adductors and stuff like that. But it's, let's say, targeted on the quads. So you'll follow along. I'm going to show you the session. Hopefully it will go well, but so far my knees are doing really well. Yeah, I have barely any pain in my knees. They feel really, really, really good. Again, peptides are a massive game changer. They literally completely changed how my knee feels, and that's great. It made a huge difference with training. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. Today was also a day off for me because I worked on Saturday, and thank God I had a day off for that because I was so tired. I had a crazy week last week. Work has been mad, literally mad. I did a lot of overtime. So it was very fatiguing, and I was exhausted. So that was great, being able to sleep last night. I think I slept about 9 hours and 30 minutes. So I had a good night's sleep, and I feel much better now. I feel human again. So this should be a good training today. Things will like fire up a bit. So yeah, I'm going to show you this training. Nothing really special, like it's about the same training as I did last time. I've been doing this like training style, and this session didn't really change for, I think, several months, like 2-3 months maybe, even more, I think so, anyway, because if it works for you, if it feels good, if you're progressing on it, if it just makes sense and it works really well for your body and you recover well, just keep it. You have no need to change it. If it works, just keep rolling with it and do your best, maximize it. So it works for me, it's a good session. It feels good, so I'm keeping it as it is. So nothing exotic, no crazy lifts, no crazy tempo, just the basics. But it's just what works, what will bring the best result, and what works the best for me at this point of time with my situation, my knees, and everything else. So the first exercise for this session is a leg curl. Seated leg curl. So I like this variation of a leg curl because it just feels really good. You're nice and stable. I can like push myself with my arms into the seat, so I'm not moving, and it's only my legs moving. And also with the pad on your thighs, it really like makes it very stable compared to a prone leg curl where, well, you have nothing really pushing you on the machine and keeping you like tight and, like bracing yourself in the machine. So it's a bit different. I like doing both, but On this session, I start with a seated leg curl. I did 2 sets of 10 reps with 170 pounds. And the main thing here is full range of motion. So same starting point, same end point for every single rep. I had this chat with a friend of mine last time because he did this set, and on the last 3 or 4 reps, they were not full reps, so he was stopping a bit before the end point, and it got worse and worse on the last reps. So the last rep were kind of like partial reps, and I had this chat with him. I was like, would you count these last 4 reps? And he was like, yeah, it counts. And I was like, to me it doesn't, because it's not something you can compare. You have too many variables. It's not the same rep. If you do like 70% of your range of motion, it's not the same as 100%. And yes, these 30% matters, especially at the end, like that when you contract. It's important. It's part of it. So I only count full range of motion, like 100% rep. So if I fall short, if my reps are not full reps, then it doesn't count. So keep it exactly the same every single time, so you can actually compare. To be able to properly track progression, you have to keep the same standards for every single rep. So it goes for the range of motion, but it also goes for the tempo, of course. So you need to have the same tempo every single rep. So whatever the tempo you want to do, keep it the same, consistent. And well, it doesn't really apply usually for this exercise, but for many other like leg presses or squats or whatever, some people do a long pause in between reps at the end because they start to fatigue, and then they just take this little rest in between reps. It's not a continuous set anymore. It's like it's a rest pause or it's a cluster set. It's not a normal continuous set. So it's not a straight set anymore. Yes, it's not a full rest, like you're not getting out of the machine or whatever, but you're still resting, so it doesn't really count again. So keep your reps and tempo and range of motion the same, so you can actually track progression over time. And of course, but that's very obvious, get the best stimulus for every single rep, every single set, every single exercise. You get the best stimulus ever for hypertrophy when you do things properly. So that's what matters the most. So that was my leg curl, and then I go into kind of love and hate type exercise, the Bulgarian split squat. So this one works pretty well for me actually, because my knees are pretty much shit. I'm pretty sure I have a mix of cruciate ligament disease, degenerative disease. I think I definitely injured them last year. They are recovering now, but it takes a very long time, and they're still not 100%, definitely not. And I'm pretty sure I have some arthritis in there too. So my knees are a bit shit at the moment. Well, they are the best they've ever been for the last year, to be honest, but they are still not 100, and I don't think they will be 100% ever again. So this exercise is actually one that always have worked for me, because I did it just after my injuries on the knees last year, and it just works. It creates no pain or minimal pain, and just like the best stimulus you can get for your quads and your glutes, also adductors, because I go all the way down. It's just a very, very good like mass builder, but also I love the fact that it's unilateral, so it's only one leg at a time, and you can actually focus on one leg at a time, and that makes a huge difference to prevent any kind of imbalances between one leg and the other. So I think it's such a good exercise. Yes, it's a bit hard, let's say, to set up. Like you have to find the setup that works for you, with the position of the bench and the stepper according to the bar and your own body structure. But once you figure out your perfect setup, trust me, it's such a good exercise. It's literally the best for leg development. I'm not lying here. Yes, other squat patterns like hack squat, leg press, pendulum squat are great exercises, don't get me wrong. But this one, just because you can actually do it one leg at a time, and you can set it up in a way that you go all the way down, it works so well. And actually it's so good for the knees. Like, you can also, because it's one leg at a time, you can work on stabilizing your knee better. So it helps keeping healthier joints and well stabilized joints. And the Smith machine, because it's on the Smith, of course, it's not like dumbbells where you have way too much stabilization work. With the Smith machine, you don't have that. Like, you still have to stabilize yourself a bit because it's only one leg, so you are not as stable as if it was bilateral, of course, but it's guided, so it's enough stabilization work to make sure you have healthy joints and healthy muscle around your joints, but at the same time, it's not too much where it becomes an issue and it becomes a limiting factor. So here you can really focus on keeping your knee and your joints and keeping your leg path aligned, but also on producing force, and you don't have to overthink stability. So that's why dumbbell is, I think, not the best at all. When you're weak, it's fine, but when you're strong, it doesn't work. So Smith's Bulgarian split squat is such a good exercise, especially with a stepper in front. It allows you to go much deeper because without the stepper, of course, well, your back leg is going to hit the floor. So you're very limited in your range of motion. On this one, with a stepper up, you can definitely go very low, and it's great for, of course, well, quad development, glutes, and adductors. So it's a very all-round kind of leg exercise. It's very taxing, it's very hard. Yes, that's for sure. But it's worth it. It's 100% worth it, especially when you found the perfect setup for you. You just have to remember how you do it, or take a picture of it, or whatever. Find some spots to remember about where to put things, some landmarks around, and then just do it every single time. And that's easy once you find it. But yeah, it's so worth it. So 2 sets of 8 reps with the pause at the bottom. The pause makes it a lot harder, and I'm doing the pause just so I can use a lower weight, because of course I want to keep my weights as low as possible for my knees. So I want to make low weights feel hard. I like doing a pause or slowing down. It makes it much harder, but I don't have to put a lot of weight to reach failure. So that's how I do it. So yeah, I pause a good second pause at the bottom for every single rep, and I'm really slowing down also the eccentric phase to get just most of it, and it works so well, and it's definitely a massive mass builder, and it worked a lot for me. So, and for my knees, because I could only do Bulgarian split squat and leg press after my knee injuries. It was the only ones I could do. I could not do any other exercises because they were hurting me so bad. So this one is also actually very good for knee health and gentle on the knees. So I would definitely recommend. So following the Bulgarian split squat, I go on the leg press and I do 2 sets of 6 reps and 1 set of 10 reps. Of course, on this one, I also slow down a lot, and yeah, just all the way down till my knees are literally scratching my chin. I can't go any lower than that, of course. That's just a very good leg builder again. And this machine especially, the Arsenal leg press, it's such an amazing machine. There is another brand called Nebula, and they do a leg press that is just very similar. It's almost exactly the same. They just work so well because of the platform angle. It's not too steep, so your ankle mobility is not going to limit you on this one. You have to place your feet the right way, of course, but if you do, you can go all the way down and your entire feet are in contact with the platform. they are not lifting up, your heels they stay on, and yeah, it just works so well, compared to other leg press where the platform is pretty steep and angled towards you, where when you go down, because your ankle mobility is not unlimited, at some point you're going to have your heels lifting from the platform just because of this issue, and then it's just like less stability for you, so less ability to produce force, so it's not ideal. So yeah, this machine is just great because of the platform angle, and because also the safeties are pretty low down, so you can actually, like, even for small girlies, I'm only 5'2", okay, so I'm very small, and this machine works super well because many leg presses are other machines. I can't go all the way down because of safeties and stuff. On this one, I can go all the way down, and it just feels amazing. It feels great on my knees, and again, I've run this one down a lot. Like, since I got my injury, this leg press works wonderfully compared to other leg presses that hurt my knee. This one is actually so good and so nice and smooth. It's just such a good leg press, so I absolutely love it. And if one day I have a home gym or just my own facility, I would definitely buy this one as my first machine. Like, I'm really in love with it. It's amazing. So 6 reps, hard reps, heavy reps, but always slowing down, and then 10 reps at the back off with, of course, lower weight, because you can't do the same way that you do for 10 reps. So it's just like a heavier weight first, and then a light weight, and after that I did some adduction, abduction, and also on this session I'm doing a touch-up of lateral raises, just because my delt suck, they are a weak point. So I'm doing just a touch-up of like 2 reps of lateral raises on the machine, just to have a little top-up for delts. So yeah, adduction, abduction, 2 sets of each, 10 reps, then 2 sets of 10 of lateral raises, and then I'm doing calf raises, 2 sets of 10, and a bit of abs, 2 sets of 10 also. So that's kind of like a little circuit to finish on, and that's it. That's my quad session, done and dusted, and it's always a hard one, but it just works. So I keep it the same because this structure works so well for me, and yeah, I'm just loving it, absolutely loving it, especially at the end when I'm dead inside. But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the little description and commentary and stuff on the session. I hope it was interesting for you, and you can get inspired to try this one at home, in your own gym, and maybe tweaking some things according to the equipment you have, and your structure and everything, your needs and stuff like that. But this session is just great. Of course, the emphasis is on the quads, but you also have some glute work, some hamstrings work, calves and adductors. So it works a bit of everything, but it's mostly quads. So that's it for me, and I'll see you very soon.